While most of our favorite summer festivals are one day or one weekend only, Ravinia's festival season is all summer long. Pick from over 100 great concerts between now and September, and I kind of need y'all help. For real, this ain't even an ad anymore. I need to know which show or shows I should go to. We got The Roots, or a Chicago Philharmonic tribute to Whitney Houston, or we got TLC and Shaggy. I can't decide, but what I do know is at some point, I'm out there with a loaded picnic bag and a nice blanket. But you can get yourself a pavilion seat if you like. Buy your tickets now only at ravinia.org. All right, for real though. Who should I pick? Today on CityCast Chicago, we've got things to do this weekend. We're talking Chicago's nastiest pests, and the summer is heating up, y'all. Joining me is summer correspondent Greta Johnson, who is back to round up what's going on as summer officially begins. It's Thursday, June 20th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. Morning, Greta. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Jacoby?
Hey, we are excited to have you back here for another week.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I'm good, but I am too warm. I know we're going to get into it, but I just can't handle it. It's too much.
Nah, I was in the pool yesterday for an hour and a half, pruning up.
Oh, Mr. Pool. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I was swimming around. It was kids around, older folks was out there. Everybody was out there trying to do their best to cool off. And I went for, at like 8 p.m., I got on one of those shoreline sightseeing lake tours that sees the skyline at night. I got some really beautiful pictures.
Oh, nice.
Last minute activity with my homie Connor. We got a karaoke storytellers coming up on the lake next month. But
oh my gosh,
let's not look too far ahead. We're talking about this weekend. Every time you come on this summer, we're going to be trying to give people things to do to break down this massive Chicago calendar. So what are you looking for? Are you staying indoors? You getting outdoors? What's on the top of your list this weekend?
It's too hot to go outside, Jacoby, is how I feel about this weekend. So my recommendation is a social activity that you can do from the comfort of your own, hopefully well air-conditioned home, which is an intro to embroidery on Zoom with my friend Shannon Downey, who you might know from Instagram. She's badass cross stitch there. And she is just like a generally excellent, awesome human, a very good community builder, even in a digital space. And she will teach you how to embroider, and you'll meet some other good, delightful humans, and you can do it again on your couch, which is one of my favorite sorts of social activities, I would say.
Oh my God, I just jumped on this page. 154,000 followers.
Yeah, man. No, this is serious stuff. She actually has a book coming out in October that I'm really excited about. It's called Let's Move the Needle. And it's just like all activism.
Cicadas are inspiring. Cicadas 2024. All eyes on Rafa. Celebrate.
She's awesome.
Indie Bookstore Day. These are great.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. I think you would like her a lot. She's like walking the walk when it comes to like the intersection of crafting and activism, which of course has a super long history and is really cool. So that's what I think people should do.
All right, so help me out a little bit, because I feel like I've seen pictures of you
knitting,
crocheting, knitting. Now we're saying cross stitching. What are the differences here? Because so I've seen videos of you like knitting, and you just be on the bench outside. You be chilling. How
fun was that picture? I just got headshots recently, and I was like, I'm gonna bring my knitting. Why not? I love that picture so much.
Oh, it's a great representation of you. So what are the differences here between like cross stitching, crocheting, knitting?
Okay, so they all would count as like fiber arts. Knitting, crocheting, cross stitch. So knitting is 2 needles, big string. Crocheting is 1 needle, big string. And embroidery is like a little metal needle with a hole in it, like a sewing needle, and little string, embroidery thread.
Okay.
With knitting, normally they're bigger projects, partly because your string is bigger, right? So like if I'm knitting something, like I'm working on a sweater right now, which is kind of an epic project, and it's going to take me like, I don't even know, probably about a year to like actually get my act together to finish it. Whereas embroidery can be, especially the stuff that you're looking at on Shannon's Instagram can be super fast. That can just take a couple hours. And because it's a smaller palette too, you can have a lot of fun with like your colors and stuff, even in that, in a way that is really rewarding and just like a different, it's like a similar vocabulary, but like a different language or medium,
I feel like people should look at the Chicago Public Library's website because I have gone through their events calendar and I feel like there have been some intro to knitting classes. Cool. And now this weekend, if people want to learn a little bit more about cross stitching, we will drop a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're going to be indoors. Anything else on your list this weekend?
Extremely indoors. I'm supposed to meet up with friends for like a backyard pizza dinner on Saturday, but I'm tempted to cancel because it's going to be 95 degrees.
Backyard pizza. They're gonna be ordering pizza, or somebody got a little pizza maker back there.
He's got a little pizza oven in his backyard, which is delightful, but like I don't think he wants to stand by a pizza oven in this temperature,
Well, breaking news, Greta's friend circle. Greta ain't gonna be there, y'all. Pulling the big shrug on you. Greta might be canceling last minute to chill at the crib. So any other excuses unnecessary.
I didn't think about that when I put it into a microphone, but here we are. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Well, I got some events for people this weekend, whether they want to be indoors or outdoors. So if you want to be outdoors, but maybe not moving too much, like just kind of stationary, maybe bring your fan, bring a lawn chair and kind of watch what's going on. One is the Chinatown Dragon Boat Racing.
Oh, cool.
Yes, this is something that's been going on, I believe, decades. And it's going to be at Pingtong Memorial Park from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The time trial races will start at 8 a.m. And then throughout the rest of the day, they're going to have a lion dance, a face changing performance, music performance. And then the final races, the award ceremony will be around 4:30 to 5. It's pretty dope. And you know how much we love dragons, G. we back in our summer dragon vibe right now. And so I felt like this was appropriate event for you and I.
I love that. That's perfect. Well, it's probably a little cooler by the river too, right?
Exactly, right?
Breeze,
Mm-hmm. And you can maybe put your feet in the water.
There you go.
Right? Pingtong Park has a little bit more shade. It's not just outdoor with no tree coverage. So that's helpful. I got another activity for you, both on Saturday and Sunday. One on Saturday, Mojo Museum, 43rd and Lake Park. The Front Porch Series is back, and it's sort of outside of the Muddy Waters Museum. It's going to be a 2-hour blues concert from 2 to 4 p.m.
Beautiful.
So again, people can pull up lawn chairs, blankets, kind of stand on the sidewalk. And then on Sunday, before you watch episode 2 of House of the Dragon, you got to watch the Chicago Sky take on the Indiana Fever again. Their game at the top of the month was, I think, the best rated game in 23 years for the W. And so people are invested in this face-off, and we are back home on Sunday at 3 p.m. And so whether you indoors at Wintrust or indoors at the crib watching on TV, those are just a couple of events for you this weekend as we kind of battle the sun. For the last few weeks, we have been talking about summer festivals, but today we are talking about summer pests. Summer means all the little creepy crawlies are out in abundance. So we want to kind of give a definitive ranking of Chicago's most common pests. So here are a few. Chicago has been ranked as one of the worst rattiest cities in America. And in the summer, with more people, more food, the rats will be out. We have been ranked amongst one of the bed buggiest cities in the country by pest control experts. And again, the summer, more tourists, more people here. You know, people might be bringing their bed bugs with them. And then outdoors, the mosquitoes, they are back, and they back with a vengeance. Greta, let's kind of make our way through this list. We also got the others, the flies, the cicadas, the ants are out more and more. Let's kind of start with what pests you are most okay with dealing with through the summer. So they will sort of be at the bottom of the most hated list or the nastiest list.
Okay, first I just want to say I'm really disappointed that you didn't say pestivals to rhyme.
I was going
festivals.
to, but I was going to. I backed out of it as I got close to it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's fair. No, I respect it. I probably wouldn't have either, but that's where my brain went. Pestivals. I think mosquitoes are by far the most tolerable creature that you have mentioned. What do you think?
We on the same page here. And
Great.
now for people, I get it. They biting you up on your legs, on your arms, right. They're out here.
Oh yeah, it's super annoying. It's super annoying. I will complain about them. I reserve the right.
Throughout the summer, I'm on their ass. I do not enjoy them, but I feel like it is the thing that I can most kind of control for, in the sense that I could put on some layers, and I get it. Of the things we talked about, mosquitoes, they carry, West Nile and malaria.
Very true.
They are dangerous pests. But I feel like between some face coverings, between like some off, some layers, I can manage them. What's next for you?
Well, I will say this is really random, but we recently had a fly infestation in our apartment, which was horrific.
Whoa. Okay. Break it down for me.
It was disgusting.
I've had a fruit fly infestation in my last apartment due to a plant that I got from like
That's terrible.
I'm not going to say the brand's name, but I brought it into the crib. Infested the crib.
I'm not going to say the apartment management company's name, but let me tell you, these are the worst landlords I have ever had in my over a decade of living in Chicago. Odds were there was probably a dead rat in the walls of our apartment. And we had probably upward a couple hundred flies over the course of 3 days in our apartment. I was actively just catching flies, and they were big black suckers. And normally I would be a fly in your apartment is oh, whatever. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. But this was truly horrible. So anyway, we don't have to get into it, but I will say that was a thing that I didn't think had to be on my list, but turned out to be.
I also just think wherever you see dog's mouth, cow's ass,
right,
a whole thing of poo somewhere, you see flies. Where you see trash,
carcasses.
You see flies, right?
Yes.
And so just flies being around, being all on you,
touching your stuff. Yeah,
exactly. That's just the nastiest. All right, so we've gone mosquitoes to flies. Next, I mean, these next two are I'm just, so at this point, if we're thinking bed bugs and rats, if we were thinking just one bed full of bed bugs and a rat, I'm taking a rat every day. But if I'm thinking of just an infestation in my house of bed bugs or an infestation of rats.
I mean, either way, we got to burn the house down, right?
But honestly, and this is just purely, nope, this is situational. The bed bugs are likely in the carpet, in the mattresses. I don't have to sleep there. I could throw those out. So we got to go bed bugs next. I can get those out. I can replace it easier.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I lay in it and have to learn the hard way, I'm pretty screwed. But hey, I could walk the hallways. I could sleep on the wall. I could stand up and sleep for a couple days. If I walked into my house and there were rats everywhere, I'm never going back in that house ever.
Yeah,
ever.
No. We did have a rat this year too. It was amazing. Just the one.
Yeah, I mean, where there's one, there's many.
Yeah, no.
There's usually a family. And
yes.
The one you saw is the one out there got the weight on their shoulders, out there getting the food for everybody, out there, little scout route, trying to check the scene, make sure Tom not out here. Oh my God. All right. But yeah, I think at the top, even when you read the headlines, and we've done an entire episode, people can go back and listen. Why is Chicago considered the rattiest city? Honestly, I think we talked with the sort of rat czar Chicago, and they weren't as diplomatic or as, didn't have the most creative solutions as you think. They're just trying to poison and kill rats, as you would imagine.
Yeah.
But again, if I had to walk into my house, the number one thing in the summer I'd be most upset and horrified by is an infestation of rats.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I haven't heard of infestations in homes, thank God. But how much have you experienced cicada stuff so far this summer? I mean, it's not really happening in the city, but you don't have to go that far into the suburbs before they are just there.
You don't. But that's one where I'm because I haven't seen it, the hype, at least for most Chicagoans in the city, overblown.
Yes.
There was cicada mania, and we saw almost zero.
I haven't heard any in Logan Square yet this summer.
Nope, none. However, I know tons of people who live out in the South Burbs, people in the West Burbs. Yeah. Cicadas all on their homes, all in the streets, all in the sidewalks. That looks if it was as pressing as it was when I was a kid and I lived in it, I would I probably would have ranked them above flies, maybe under bed bugs.
Yes, I
mostly
think
because
so.
they just outside. At least I can go inside.
Yeah, I do think like the violation of the entrance into the home is just like an extra level of trauma for sure.
And for what it's worth, like flies are gonna do what they're gonna do. Bed bugs are, oh my God, rats just, and again, I know that there are a bunch of people out here like, hey, a couple rats, they're not that bad. It's not their fault. They're just trying to survive. You know, they're actually, you know, you can own them as pets. They're, like people actually keep us. I get all of that.
For sure.
I do not care.
So here's a weird question. What if it were an infestation of bunnies?
That also sounds terrifying. I'm personally being honest.
Isn't that funny?
That also sounds terrifying.
I've been seeing more and more like in yards in Logan Square this summer. And as a person who was recently concerned about a rat infestation in her building, I was like, what if I could just reframe this as bunnies? Would I feel better about it? And the answer is no.
The answer is no, man. The answer is no. Honestly, for me, it's probably like, it's kittens and puppies. Like at that point, it's just like, I'm sorry, infestation of kittens and puppies, I'll manage. Anything else, I'm probably, and honestly, those are probably more dangerous in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you just had the fly infestation, as people are dealing with like fruit flies during these summer months, what were your tips? How'd you get rid of them?
Well, okay, so fruit flies you can do, I don't know if you tried this, there's like an apple cider vinegar thing you can do in a little glass where you put some dish soap in there too, and that attracts them. That does not work for black flies, but it does work for fruit flies.
It did work for the fruit flies.
Yeah.
But so was that your first go-to for the flies?
Yeah, that was our day one when there were like 3 or 4. We put out a couple cups and nothing happened. And then we were just sort of running around like whacking at them with paper towels. Eventually, I bought sticky paper, which I'm pretty sure is fly torture. Like watching them land on it and then try to get off, and like they kind of start like buzz screaming. So yeah, I just was like a murderess for several days of just like getting them on the fly paper. I just put them all over the windows, and that worked pretty well.
Did you get no electric?
No, I didn't do. No, I know there are like plug-in ones with wavelengths or whatever, but no, I stuck with the plain old torture. Listen, it was a really rough couple of days, okay?
For people keeping track, the bottom of the nastiest list. And again, you might change this, but for us, mosquitoes. Next, we were going flies and cicadas if you got them. Then we went bed bugs. And then at the top, rats.
Yeah.
That is our nastiest pests of summer 2024. We want to hear from you. What is your list? How would you rank these? 773-780-0246. All right, Greta, before we get out of here, you have this game that you like to play. It's called Burden or Delight. Can you tell us how does it work?
So it's very straightforward. There are no prizes. Essentially, we pick a topic and then we decide whether it is a burden or a delight, which I think is kind of a fun dichotomy, because a lot of things, like you might think they're one, but then it turns out to be another, you know, because turns out there's a lot of gray area in life. So yeah, we thought we would try playing it over here today.
And I think we have to start with where we are. And today is, on the calendar sense, the first day of summer. And for the last few weeks, all we have discussed is, one, coming out of the cold months. So summer is always this heavenly figure that you think about. We talked about summer festivals, getting outside, getting into the water. Right. Again, summer's painted in such a beautiful light. But with summer also comes that point where we got to remind ourselves that it's going to get hot outside, and hot in some very dangerous levels. Different neighborhoods in our city get hotter. What that may mean depending on your access to cooling units, AC, fans in your apartment. Right. And so obviously, you know, summer heat doesn't just mean one thing. So for you, general summer heat, is that a burden or a delight?
I'm going to go full burden on this one.
Okay.
Just 100% burden.
And that was a full stop too. You just looked right into the camera and it felt like you stared right into my soul.
No.
Like even your facial expression changed a little bit. You were like full burn.
Well, I mean, the other pieces, I mean, you mentioned like it's definitely a social justice issue, right? In terms of like this is dangerous heat at this point. Also, the climate change of it all is terrifying.
We just had an episode that we reran explaining why neighborhoods in Chicago get hotter and how across the city you could see 10, 15 degree swings and how hot it feels outside. And so we will continue to link people to the resources. For me, I do got to go Delight. Not strong, not full Delight. Okay. We need to rein it in a little bit. It is dangerous, but Chicago is such a terrible place to navigate when there is even a little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit of ice on the ground, when it is rainy outside and nasty outside. And it feels like right now we don't have a sort of middle ground to pick from, that we are experiencing, right? These stronger extremes, stronger heat waves, stronger thunderstorms, 3 weeks of polar vortex snap code. It feels like we're doing another definitive ranking. What's the worst? The worst thunderstorm, the worst polar vortex, and the worst heat. Their heat ranks very low for me because just being able to get outside, again, if we have access to pools, beaches, the lake, the water cannons inside your local park, some way to moderate the heat. I'm pushing for more and more of those around the city. But like general summer heat is a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yes.
It's not my favorite for my clothes, but it's a vibe.
I get that. I think for me, there's a really big difference between like what we're experiencing this week, where it's like mid 90s and humid and sunny. And like, that's whether we're like, even if you're outside and you're not moving at all, you are sweating, or at least I will speak for myself. I am sweating. Whereas like, I think for me, the sweet spot is honestly like mid 70s, where it's just like you can do stuff outside. It's pleasant. You can like walk the dog. No one is like in danger, but it's just, and you can like admire the flowers. Like that is beautiful. I totally get that. I will say just personally, like I think my favorite number of degrees is 57. I think that's really great. But, I get it.
57 is, I'm really like a 67, 68 degrees kind of person in the crib.
Respect.
But outdoors, I'm cool with like 78, 79.
Yeah.
I have in the last few days done a festival outdoors during the heat. Oof. And then just generally walk the neighborhood. And it was heavy.
It's a lot.
And it was terrible.
It's a lot.
But when I'm in that moment, I just sort of compare it to the worst of the winter, and it just feels at that moment it feels like a delight. Like I can go get ice cream probably anywhere within like 2 to 3 blocks.
You could. That's true. I love that. You're just getting ice cream every 2 hours, then you're okay.
And the sun is out until like 8 o'clock.
That is really nice. I mean, the other thing about like official calendar summer, of course, is that it's also summer solstice.
It feels like we'll have to bring you back as a winter correspondent as well.
Oh, that's when we thrive. Just hunker hard. So good.
Well, please follow chicago.citycast.fm to stay up on all of the available cooling resources throughout the city. We will keep you updated as the summer moves on. Greta, I appreciate you making time for CityCast Chicago, being back to help us make sense of these crazy weekends, talk the grossest of pests, and to break down how we feel about summer heat. And you again, full burden.
Thank you again for having me. Yes, full burden. I mean, my boyfriend and I were talking the other day. We can't wait to get old enough where we get wellness checks, when it's really hot out. Somebody's like, hey, you guys doing okay over there? And we're like, we could use some snacks if you wouldn't mind. Then it's a delight. We'll get there.
One more thing before we get out of here. Stay tapped into all CityCast Chicago has to offer by bookmarking our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you'll find helpful city hacks, neighborhood guides, and you can subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago. Something you only gonna find on the podcast, though. Some good news. Free tickets are now available to see The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and The Daily Show with Jon Stewart when both arrive in Chicago to cover the DNC this August. So join the wait list now by checking the link in our show notes. As always, we appreciate you for listening. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow when we're looking back on some big stories from the week. We'll talk to you then. Peace. We're talking Chicago's nastiest pets, and the summer is heating up.
Did you mean to say pets? Because it was really good.
Did I say pets? I rolled right into it and I did not hear it.
I don't think we're trying to keep these animals as pets.
I saw you laughing and I was like, I assumed you were laughing because my energy was like so random. I was just like, bro, I thought you was being like that. I was like, he is not that energized. He's a liar. But you were like, no, Chicago's nastiest pets. Get your nasty ass dog and all of its excrement off the sidewalk. No, because it needs to be personal. It's like if we go on Chicago's nastiest pets, it needs to be Miss Loretta's bulldog on 63rd and Loomis.
I mean, we can do it if you want to do it. That's fine.
All right. No, true. I just rolled through it. That's on me. Nope. Pests is fine. I just said pets.
Listen, Loretta's doing her best, okay?
No, pests. We got it.